Halo Kang. ஜி கேக்குதா? கேக்குதா ஜி? கேக்குதுல்ல?
So we face the same issue in terms of the quorum. So we have 41 as of now. So two options. One, we wish to wait till 11:30 to see if we are able to do it. Else, as per the bylaw, it states with lack of quorum, we will have to do the same meeting next Sunday at 10 a.m. irrespective of the numbers that we have for the AGM. So this is the option that we have. So obviously, with all due respects to all of us, because we have also come here believing we are going to do the meeting. So one option is we wait till about 11:30 to see if we have furthermore walk-ins to go ahead, because 2-3 major things that we have to do is the adoption of the accounts, the auditors, are all the regular procedures that we have to pass resolution. So it's a meeting where we have to pass resolution, and to pass resolution we need to follow the bylaw in terms of the quorum that we require to do the AGM. So one option is, it's about 10:55 now, maybe 11:30 we see. That's what I'm saying. See, திருப்பி அதே மாதிரி ஆச்சுன்னா இல்ல take it to next week is the bylaw. Next week Sunday 10 a.m. irrespective of 20 or 30 or 50 we can go ahead to do the AGM. திருப்பி இப்போ 4 o'clock வச்சு திருப்பி 4 o'clock அது மாதிரி ஆகுமான்றது நமக்கு ஒரு கஷ்டமா இருக்கு. ஸ்க்ரீன் வேணும் அப்புறம் இங்க.
Good morning. See, as per bylaws, we have 283 members, and minimum quorum required is 1/3. It's about 94, and we have 41, less than half are the quorum. So even to have a valid meeting is not possible. If there are 5 members, 6 members, maybe you can ask them to come. They say they may come late, etc. So, I mean, people have already come here at 10 o'clock, and to expect them to wait beyond next 10-15 minutes, I don't think it's fair for the people who have come in time. So therefore, as per bylaw, we have to postpone it, adjourn the meeting to next week, 10 a.m. as originally proposed in the meeting. And irrespective of the quorum, in that meeting, the meeting is valid and we can continue. I think that is a compulsion imposed by us, on us by the bylaw, and I think we should respect them to follow that.
What is the procedure for changing bylaw?
That is a very valid point. In the next possible opportunity, we should look at the option of modifying the bylaw to a practical number, because this has been several times this situation is repeated. That's okay. As long as the number of people who signed in and walked in when the meeting started. Exactly. That's why I'm saying it. I think.
So we will go by this plan. If we could just have some show of hands for next Sunday at 10 a.m.
No, that we not serve notice for.
See, notice that item na AGM la panna mudiyum. We can do an AGM in
March, February, March. We'll do that.
The bylaw, like how we did an AGM, we'll do one more AGM in March 23 and we'll pass it.
Apartment Owners Act doesn't provide, our bylaw cannot contravene.
Okay, in the next possible opportunity, one minute, let me complete what I'm saying. The next possible opportunity, we can look at the bylaw change. Pradeep. Possible. That is definitely possible, but will not be an AGM. That is not a valid meeting. We can have a problem for now that MC is available in full strength and a lot of 41 residents are here. We can definitely have a fruitful discussion, but that will not be an AGM. We have asked. Okay, fine. We can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, everybody is ready to wait till 11:30 is the question. They want to go.
No, correct, sir. No, we we are already trying. We have all from our respective sides. We have been pumping messages. Okay. By Mr. Ravichandran. Let's consider it. What we can do, this is not a valid AGM, but there are 42 residents members present now. So maybe we can have a fruitful discussion about the non-legal part of the community, and if we'll see if 11:30 enough number turn up. Otherwise, we'll adjourn to next week 10 a.m. How does it suit? So that at least those people who have come today will go with some discussion. I'm sure you. Okay, then I think then the message is loud and clear. Thank you so much for coming, and the meeting stands adjourned as per by law. Okay, providing bench is a simpler solution. No, by law. No, I'm not saying that. By law says that.
And the bylaw cannot contravene the Apartment Owners Act.
Both, sir. We are willing to wait till half an hour, but everybody should also be willing to wait till half an hour, right? It's not only our decision. Adjourn again next week. Cannot.
Mr. Bose, you are saying that if we can wait for half an hour, the quorum criteria can be this thing. That was a past practice. So just a moment.
Sorry, sir, 1 minute. This is a bylaw. Excuse me, attention please. I'm reading from the bylaw, the quorum. The point number D. In case of general body, the quorum shall consist of not less than 1/3 of the members. We have 283, 1/3 means about roughly 94. And if the quorum is not present at the meeting within half an hour of the time fixed, the meeting shall stand adjourned by 1 hour and will be reconvened on the same day at the same venue. Such adjourned meeting shall not require any quorum wide EGM dated 24th July 2011. Voting in any general body meeting is by show of hands, and if that is not acceptable or not agreed by the members, it shall be through secret ballot, and each member is entitled to 1 vote per flat, irrespective size. So therefore, this meeting, this particular quorum requirement, as amended by the extraordinary general body meeting on 24th July 2011, allows us to have the meeting. So can we now wait for 15 minutes and like Mr. Bose suggested, we can go ahead. Can we have show of hands for that? Camera please, camera please. Start. 11. So in case of general body, okay, let me read once again, sir, recording sir. In case of general, point number D on quorum. In case of general body, the quorum shall consist of not less than 1/3 of the members, and we are 283 members, so 1/3 is about 94. And if the quorum is not present at the meeting within half an hour of the time fixed, the meeting shall stand adjourned by 1 hour, and which we already adjourned by 1 hour, and will be reconvened on the same day, which is today. Okay, at the same venue, this venue. Such adjourned meeting shall not require any quorum. Wide EGM dated 24th of July 2011. Is clear? Show of hands, please. So, okay, in 1 minute we can have the AGM starting. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mr. Bose, for the valuable input. Thanks, Neela madam. Okay, Balaji, have a nice one.
Has helped us to decide to do the match today. So we will go on to do the AGM. So before we start the meeting proceedings, we'll have the prayer song by Divya.
सदाशिवन् मैन्दने गजमुगने सदाशिवन् मैन्दने गजमुगने शन्तदं मुन्दन्नरुळ् तन्दरुळ् विनायकने सदाशिवन् मैन्दने पादारवि कार्तिकेयनिन् कादल् वळ्ळियै कलिमनं शय्य कारणाधिप निरुपमूषिका वाहना कळलरारय गणपति महिमा परवं एन्नडि मरवनन्गुवन् महाराजन् पाडवरं तरुवाय् सदाशिवन् मैन्दने गजमुगने शन्तदं मुन्दन्नरुळ् तन्दरुळ् विनायकने सदाशिवन् मैन्दने सदाशिवन् मैन्दने.
Thank you, Divya, for the lovely song. Inform as we start the AGM, though it's not part of the key agenda. Two changes that we had brought about. One very important change with a lot of projects that is happening in terms of the seepage to lift. We found that it is very difficult for one estate manager to monitor the projects as well as run the entire estate in terms of the maintenance to security to housekeeping to lift to everything. So by name Vasant, who got replaced by Anbu, who got into the Securo's roles back, and now we have hired one Mr. Manigandan as the estate manager for RMT. Is Manikandan here? So Manikandan carries about 15 years of estate manager experience itself. So we have taken him to take care of the entire estate, and Anbu, who's moved into the roles of Securo, will take care of the projects in terms of whatever that we are executing with the capex that has come in. So quick announcement on that. So as we get into the AGM, we'll have Krishna Kumar for the accounts, and then we'll have the secretary report by Shankar Narayan. Anbu is in the payroll of Securo, replaced Vasant. So there is no add-on on terms of the cost that we are doing. So this is Manikandan. So he was in the last 2 weeks of probation, where we allowed him to study the entire estate, come up with a fresh pair of eyes, because all along, too much of knowing factor didn't allow us to take few decisions or find out few things which needed correction. With him coming in, we found some quick areas that needs to be plugged. So he is starting off with a good job. So we will continue with him as the estate manager. Exactly. So formally he is announced in the AGM today. From tomorrow, any communication from the office will come through Manikandan. So Anbu moves into the roles of Securo, replacing Vasant. That is the background. So yeah, let's give Manikandan a welcome.
Not experience on the Middle East and all, huh?
Yeah. Thank you. So let me have KK to get the meeting started.
First, we will start with the annual report of the MC to the members. Light and would light up. No. Is it clear? We request about 20 minutes from the members to go through the annual report, and we try to cover as much details as possible, and at the end of it, if there are still unanswered questions, we are too happy to have you. First, all the annual report is, the formal annual report is in the written form, word form, attached to the notice and sent to everybody, and that is available with you. This is just points which I have just put it on the screen to facilitate a recollection. First, we want to take you through the key activities. First, this major work completion information is the heading, and we have started talking about one by one what are the projects we have done. First, the largest project we have done this year is large-scale replacement of rusted GI pipes. See, this is part of the seepage project, in which the seepage project has got different sections. One section is that there are a lot of pipes in the terrace and on the ducts, which are rusted GI pipes, and it requires replacement. Even the previous committee's time, they have spent sizable amount of money replacing the GI pipes with UPVC pipes, and we have taken that project to the next level. So we replaced in all the blocks on the terrace the horizontal pipes that are rusted. Let me repeat, all the 9 blocks on the roof, the horizontal level pipes, GI pipes that are rusted have been replaced. And second, from the RO water tank, there are rusted GI pipes coming. That is a very large part of the job, and we started the job. And 3 blocks we have taken up, block 5, 6, and 7. And 6 is about to get completed, and 5 and 7 will be completed in about 10 days' time. Now, replacing GI pipes connected to our water tank work is going on. So now, this project is personally supervised by Mr. Ravi, so I take his help to communicate the point. The work was started on 7th April, and this till 23rd April it went on. The horizontal rooftop changes, and we have spent so far 15.56 lakhs. And what was it is and how it is now, you can see. See, sir, you suggest. These are the photographs.
I'll just take about 2-3 minutes. See, there are about 5 different types of pipelines across the society. One is the pipes, the sewerage pipes, the rainwater pipes, and so on. So let's not worry about the details. Now, seepage is a very intricate subject. In fact, we have spent about 4 or 5 months, me, Kiran, and a few other people, to analyze seepage across the society and what we should do to handle seepage as a one-time solution. And seepage actually varies from block to block. It is very divergent in terms of the seepage. Whatever happens in a block 4 will be very different from what happens in, I want the full total context. What happens in, say, for example, block 7. So we need a block by block solution. Now, what Shankar has explained is something that we can do ourselves. We don't need expertise. Incidentally, we have got experts coming, and we'll talk about it at the appropriate time to tell us exactly how to handle seepage across the society. But some things what we can do, that's exactly what we have started, and in the last 6 months, in the terrace, see, terrace is a very important part of the seepage. So in the terrace, we have replaced some the GI pipes still remain. What happens is wherever the sea breeze is not flowing, the GI pipes remain intact. It's very interesting. If you go and see, you will realize what I'm saying. They just remain intact. So we have decided not to replace them because they are doing very fine. And wherever there is an issue, it's been completely replaced. So they're not a spot of, apart from that, we have also used some concreting work to ensure the pipes are brought up a bit. Because if it remains on the terrace, once again, it results in leakage. The moment it is lifted up, the maintenance also becomes easy. So many things have been done by Anbu and his team, and using some external help wherever we need to go down and etc. etc. And it has been a thorough job has been done. Then comes the tank. The tank is a different type of work because you got to stop the water for 15 days, and that work is ongoing. It will be done in about 2-3 weeks. After doing that, we'll come to the vertical pipes. As I told you, there are different types of pipes. Even UPVC pipes which are damaged, we'll replace those as well. So these things are in our control. There are many things which are not in our control where we need outside people to come and assist us. So we'll talk about it at the right point of time.
Thanks, Mr. Ravichandran. So if you can, visually we can see those who couldn't go to the terrace. Block by block, I can show you how it was and how it is now. You can see on the left hand side before how it was, and now on the right hand side after work it has been. You can see here. So happy to share with you, all blocks have been covered, 9 blocks so far. Okay, this particular work, when we started, we tried to do with outside help. At the time, the cost was coming to be very enormous. At the time, our RMT maintenance team and MC joined together and found out what are the areas where we need expertise, what are the areas where we don't need expertise, a simple pipe changing job. So our RMT maintenance team pitched in great stuff, and personally, Anbu is taking a lot of load, trying to do both. Because half the day he is in the terrace supervising that work, and that time the office work suffers. That's the time we realized that it is impossible to do large projects which involves technology, technical work and expertise, etc., and also do a estate manager job. That's why we decided to bring in Mr. Manikandan to do the estate management job, so that we can allow Anbu to focus full time on this kind of large projects. With being a 20-year-old society, large projects are going to come for the next at least couple of years, in our opinion. So that's the status here. In our opinion, Sir Ravi sir, can I say, will I be off mark? At least 30-40 lakhs would have saved in this by doing it ourselves.
Let's put it this way. I think we would have done it, let's be a little conservative. We would have spent 50% of what we would have spent if we had hired other people, outside people, and given a block-wise contract. Because here what we did is calculated every single material by length. And that was audited by me, that yes, indeed, this is the length, and we have some insurance pipes as well, which can be taken to the next block and so on and so forth. And we had 3 comparative quotations. I checked with some members in the society as well, got the best quote as well as the quality quote. Whereas where the fellow will not cheat in terms of there are lots of cheating that goes on in terms of reused pipes. So all that was insured. So yes, at least 50% we would have saved had we given the contract on as a block contract to somebody who say, okay, this is this thing per square foot, my total rate, and don't ask me questions about where I spend in labor and etc. etc. So the labor was essentially in-house, but we did hire outside labor when the guy had to go down the shaft and do some intricate work. There is a special set of people who do that. So we had to hire them outside. This 15.56 lakhs covers all that.
15.56 is the new saved cost. Had it not been done this way, it would have been at least twice. Therefore, 40 lakhs, 15, 20, 30 lakhs would have been saved. Now the net cost is only 15 lakhs.
I just wanted to, I had a quotation of 8 lakhs per block. I had a quotation of 8 lakh rupees per block to do this job. And I'm in charge of maintenance at that time. I had got it done. When Ravi, of course, took this over and finished it, the total job in 15.5. So we would actually, if it got an outside agency and just handed it over, then we would have actually spent 8 lakh rupees. It's in our records with us.
Okay, so thanks Narendra for that. Second is the so-called the project eyesore. You know, Colony, several cons have been damaged. Several places the granites are falling. I'm sure it's across RMT, and a lot of places the concrete pieces are also falling down. So instead of simply patching work wherever there are problems, you know, MC took a decision to completely survey the whole 9 blocks and make a list and find out the priority areas where it's high risk. And there we try to fix it first. One such example is in 5th block B wing, the lift, right in front of the lift, the whole large vertical piece of granite was about to fall. That got fixed. And block 6, several, at least in my car, 2-3 granites fell so far. And you know, this granite you see on the wall. So like this, when it's not just 2 blocks, we have identified areas across blocks and we have prioritized them by risk, and we are fixing one by one. Along with this, we are also fixing the broken concrete pieces in civil work across all blocks. I would have seen patchwork is being done. So this is on the core building part. Now let's proceed to the second large project we handling in this year. It is the service replacement. Thanks for the excellent cooperation given by the members in this room on the 23rd of March. Service lift replacement project has been approved, and we have did a very thorough due diligence, and we formed an expert committee. The expert committee was consisting of Mr. V. Muralidharan from Block 5, Mr. N. Arasu from Block 1, Mr. Sriram from Block 5, and Padmini Madam from Block 3. And all of them gave excellent inputs. One decided to have a common person view, a common resident view. That's why we included Padmini, who is a very strong NGO activist background. So, you know, voice of the common person. So that was represented by Padmini. And all of them gave excellent inputs. And to give you a 2-minute brief about how we went about, after forming the expert advisory committee, we had series of meetings. We have developed options for replacement of service lift, and we called quotations from branded lift providers, 3 major branded lift providers, Johnson, Otis, and Kone. Kone being the current service provider, Johnson the new service provider, and Otis we thought one of the best ones. And we also called AIM Elevator, who is the current AMC vendor for the lift, to also quote unbranded lift. And we also called Kannan Elevators and one other elevator company, which are doing assembled lifts. So 6 quotations were received, and we had extensive deliberations. After that, we found out that the assembled vendors, they often have a risk of putting some dissimilar parts, not standard, and they can't therefore give the output guarantee. And every time it goes down, they need to go and scout for spare parts, sometimes available, sometimes not available. And we are not too sure whether original and new parts are going into it or not. So, with consultation with the expert advisory committee, we decided not to go the unbranded route. We stuck to Otis, Kone, and Johnson. And 2-3 rounds of discussions, we found out they have got dissimilar capacities and speeds. For example, all the lifts currently are operating are geared lifts, manual geared lifts. It gives jerk. So now current technology is moved, and most of the manufacturers coming only with the gearless machines. And the current lifts are at a lower speed, 1 meter per second, whereas 9 floors, considering weight, etc., we decided to compare the speeds of various lifts. After that, looking into the costs and budgets, we decided that better to have 1 or 1.25 meter per second. So we being in the seashore, our lifts are very prone to corrosion. So in the previous lifts were all of mild steel, normal steel, and therefore they were corroding much, much faster. You know, the passenger lifts were recently modified with the stainless steel body. So learning from that, we decided having a stainless steel body will protect against corrosion for a long term. So we decided to go for stainless steel body. So on that basis, we have circulated a request for proposal from all three vendors on the same basis in consultation with expert advisory committee. Stainless steel body, scratch proof, gearless, 1 or 1.25 meters per second speed. Every vendor was asked to give quotation on the same basis so that they are comparable. And we found out after 2-3 rounds of discussion that Johnson, with the help of Mr. Ravichandran's classmate, who is the MD of Johnson, he managed to really give a fantastic quotation for us. And that's why we managed to get very good rates, almost within our budget. And we selected Johnson. And also Johnson promised us very low first 5-year AMC cost. Because a lot of people, Mr. NRS advised us, Shankar, be very careful. MC, be careful. Some people will charge you less initially, they charge you more in service cost. So that we compared them on a total cost of ownership and not just on purchase cost. So MC decided to take 5-year AMC cost, critical spare part cost, and then compared total cost of ownership. And we found out Johnson was one of the best one with more than 10% savings. So that's why we decided to go to Johnson, and we placed order on them. And we have got 2 lifts, and 15th of August we started with a small puja, and 2 lifts have been installed, and we first replaced it. So we chose block 7, and being the oldest block, we picked up block 1. So block 1 and 7 has been replaced. So that is the cost of the lift is 37.94 lakhs. 17.5 lakh is the cost of 1 lift per including GST, and 1.47 lakh is the cost of 9th floor amendment work, rewiring, etc., 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 after taking the old lift parts as a scrap value. So we have spent 37.94 lakhs so far. So having done that, we are now ready to place order for 4 more lifts. Because Johnson says we can comfortably execute 4 lifts at the same time. So we have made a request to all the residents somewhere to asking them to pay up their money, because we don't want to receive the money in advance and hold it. So we finalized all commercials. When the money was required only, we raised it. And basis that, we are now ready to release the 75.88 lakh order for the next set of 4 lifts. Which are the 4 blocks going to get it? From September end to October, till yesterday, we found out the collections given by each and every block. We made a tabular column, and I can share with you that block 2 maximum collections, block 1 and 7 apart, that is already done. Block 2, 6, 3, 2, 3B, 5B and 6 are the 4 blocks that coming in the higher priority. Very sad to say, block 4 collections are very poor. So far only 4 people have paid money, 3 or 4 people. Okay, and I request block 7 people who already enjoyed the new lift for almost 1 month now to pay up for their lifts. And block 1, out of 28 flats, 18 flats have paid money, 10 flats have yet not given money. So if block 1 and block 7 people give the money to us, that money we can use it for the redeploying the other lifts. Block 5B, in the current, work will start on 1st of November, before 31st December it will get settled. It's there. 5B wing, B wing, your side wing, madam. The work will start on 1st November, order has been placed, and before 31st December, these 4 lifts will be up and running. But there's a very big if. Currently, out of 1.71 crore requests we made, we have only received 58 lakhs so far. And we are continuously following Jyoti, Anbu and Manikandan, myself, those who I know, I personally follow. So I request each and every one of you to tell your known people to pay up so that we can expedite the project. Assuming that the money is available quickly, we are confident we can complete the project optimistically by 28th of February, realistically by 31st of March. Yes, of course. That's after the AGM, after taking into account the input of the members, we intend to do that. The last day is today, 31st of October is the last date. So we will take your inputs today, After taking your inputs today, we will implement a late payment because it's not fair for the people who paid up. It's not fair for the people who paid up. Yes, sir. We'll come back 20 minutes. We'll ask you the questions. Yeah. Yeah. So, Mr. Subramanian sir inaugurated the lift on block 1. Sir, thank you. And our CEO, the S12 CEO of Chettinad Builders, he inaugurated the building block 7 lift. We intend to invite one of the either the past president or senior people of each block resident to inaugurate the respective block lifts. So now, everybody's mind is asking, oh, Saravit lift is very good, new, brand new, we are using it to carry material, but people are suffering. Block 1 and block 4 lifts are in very bad condition, passenger lift. I'm now shifting the work to passenger lift. Block 1 and block 4, passenger lifts are in bad condition. What is the problem? If more than 5 people get on the lift, it will jerk and stop. So it does not have enough counterweight, it does not have enough battery power, and it has got certain other things to be done. So what we did recently, we did an experiment with block 3B, where the similar problem was there. And we spent about 40,000 rupees, and we managed to fix the problem. And for the last 1 month, block 3B passenger lift is working well. So learning from that, now we want to implement block 1 and 4, the counterweight addition. We are going to possibly remove the counterweight from the old lifts. Mr. Tommy, I know what's the question on your lips. We are not going to buy counterweights. Whatever counterweights you are removing from the service lift, we are going to modify it and put it in. The size of the counterweight in passenger lift and the service lift are different. So we are going to take out the counterweights, which we otherwise are going to sell as scrap, modify it and put it in the in block 1 and block 4 to balance the counterweight so that it will not get stuck in between. And we also need to necessary changes that cost 45,000 rupees per lift in block 1 and block 4, which you have approved it now. 1st of November, order will be placed. And other block lifts have also been studied at a cost of 36,000 rupees. We are going to also increase the efficiency, smoothness, and the speed of the passenger lift. So the whole project is going to cost 3.35 lakhs. And it will start on 1st of November, and 30th of November it will be done. And this will be done within the existing budget. For this, we are not going to ask money. So, next big project, what we did, where we considerable amount of energy and time was spent, is additional water connection, additional metro water augmentation. This was the handover point of the previous MC. Mr. Bose and Mr. Matthew and Madan gave us a long briefing on the handover day. Mr. Matthew, thank you for the inputs you have given. We took it very seriously. I personally drove it. We made several representations of Metro Water. At least 12 times I personally visited Metro Water senior officials, from area executive engineer to superintending engineer to chief engineer to executive director, and finally MD of Metro Water. I had to use all my personal networks and personal friends who are currently DGPs of the states, fix appointments, etc., went and met. After several rounds of meeting, first objection received by them was, we don't know whether you paid for the connection charges. First, give me the receipt. This is where the previous committee got stuck, right? Second, they said, how do we know you are asking water for 280 for flats, but how do we know you paid the connection charges for 280 for flats? Show me the proof. Then you are saying that you are only receiving 75,000 liter water per day. How do we know? We want to measure it. Sir, we have got record. No, that's your record. That's not my record. So we asked the executive engineer to depute people here. From that day, for 1 month, they studied the water inflow. And in the meanwhile, with the help of guidance of Mr. Matthew, we went to the builder. Builder gave excellent support. I want to record here the support given by the builder. Thank you so much, builders. Nearly week 15 days, Mr. Sole Pandana, Mr. Saravanan of Chettinad Builders, personally, on the recommendation of our Block 7 previous S12 CEO of Chettinad Builders, he put in a word. We worked with Saravanan. We dug out the reports, old accounting records of Chettinad Builders, and took out the receipt made in 1998. This is what was holding this progress on this project for so many years. This is the receipt, which is for nearly 17 lakh 24,000, 19 lakh 24,000 for sewage line, and 6 lakh something for the water connection. So we went and showed to the executive director and managing director. They said they went into a big spin. They thought we'll never bring the receipt. Matthew sir, this is what we couldn't get it. So we got it. So they went into huddle. After 3 meetings, they came and said, there is a policy problem. There is a policy violation here. I said, what is the policy violation? You applied for 284 connections. You paid for 284 connections. We have given you 284 connections, and there are 284 meters work. 284 connections in all the colonies working. Good. But one gated community can have only one supply line with 1 meter. No gated community in Chennai has been given 2 connections, 2 meters. You are asking for a second connection. And you are saying the per capita supply of Metro Water is not enough. Sorry, Metro Water says 2 things. I am supposed to give you 135 liters of per person per month. And at the same time it says one connection can have only 40 millimeter dia pipe. We have given you 40 millimeter dia pipe. If that is not giving you enough per capita water, sorry, that's not our problem. Then what is the solution? I went to MD. He said, you need to lay a dedicated line. Dedicated line from the MRC pumping center up to here, go to corporation, get the road cutting permission, put the big pipe for your colony separately. That builder should have done it. They have not done it. Leela Hotel has done it, 174 has done it, you have not done it. Pipe, they're saying one connection already given. Second, you cannot take it. That's what they're saying. That's what I'm saying. 2 pipe, that's not your problem. You are supposed to give to 1, we've given you 1. So if you want, you go apply, get dedicated connection. So I pushed and pushed. You know what they did? The chairman's office wrote a formal reply. Formal reply. Let me read can someone read the report for me? Agree? So what someone substance of what they're saying is, we are confirming, okay, they're confirming that we have paid money for 284 and they acknowledged it. And they're saying that our per capita water is not enough. But the solution for that is go for a dedicated line or use grey water recycling. But because of the pressure we put on them for over 6 months, you know what they did? They came for 1 month water supply monitoring, no? At the time, the first few days, they saw 75,000 liters per day. They slowly did some jerking from back end. Now, water has gone up to 125 to 130. That meaning, within the current 40 mm pipe, whatever speed with which they could give line, that they are giving. But they are not giving more than 1 connection, and they are saying that even if there is second connection, we cannot give it for you. So that is the status. Having received a letter officially from the managing directors of Metro Water office, we are stuck now. But I have not stopped here. Personally, I'm talking to few water, a lot of builders have got people who are getting water connection, they are consultants. I'm asking them what is the process for it, how do we do it? They're saying Chettinad builder is building one 14-story building opposite Ayyappan temple. So watch out what they're doing. If they are going to do a dedicated line, and if that goes via Somerset, from Somerset to here you put a dedicated line. That's the idea they have given. So I'm in close coordination with the former CEO of Chettinad Builders, who's also overseeing the project in Ayyappan temple, near Ayyappan temple. As you all may know, near Sun TV recently they dug open the door and put a big black pipe. That is going to take care of increased water supply for MRC Nagar. Because right next to block 1, the plot has been sold to Brigade. So Brigade is coming out as a big project. So they are expecting all that, and then they are laying a larger pipe from MRC substation up to 174 already they laid. So we will, in the next 1 or 2 years, we'll have increased water supply. In the meanwhile, we'll watch the Chettinad Builders movement on this one. We'll try to benefit from. This is another status of water project. But okay, now I kept Mr. Matthew personally informed on each and every move on this. I spoke to Mr. Madan, I spoke to Mr. Bose as well, and I posted them the copies, letter, correspondence, etc. I've taken help from Mr. Kuni, our president, and he spoke to the Minister, Water Resources Minister's PA, to put some sort of pressure to see help out RMT, etc. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, and we are considering the enormous, okay, what it cost to go for a dedicated line from MRC to here. In my opinion, I have laid all over Tamil Nadu and South India the fiber optic cable for telecom. It involves ROW charges and it got road cutting permission charges and then redoing the dug open road. It will cost them several crores. If you put 2 crores to put a dedicated line from MRC to here, even interest cost will be 18 lakhs or 20 lakhs. That can easily help us to buy the tanker water itself. So we decided not to go the dedicated pipeline for now. Until we know if it can come up to Somerset, we can take it to Somerset. So that's the decision. MC has arrived in consultation with the past president, Mr. Matthew, past secretary, Mr. Madan, and Mr. Bose, the past financial controller, etc., etc. This is what is the status on this project. Okay, now next major work infrastructure is power backup. Power backup simple. We have 2 generators. Few years ago, the previous committee bought a lovely new Kirloskar Powerika DG that's in good condition, that's working. And the FG Wilson is the older DG, which is a smaller DG, not smaller, economical DG. The FG Wilson will only take us 35 liters per hour, but the new Kirloskar takes 55 liters per hour. So what we are trying to do, whenever there is a possibility, we try to use the FG Wilson first and then the Powerika. But during the year, we had a couple of fault, the control panel had a problem, etc. And we had to spend 1.25 lakhs. And after that, recently, the AVR has failed. Considering the need for an alternate backup generator, we also invested 1.5 lakhs to fix it. So now both the generator will be in working condition very soon. So this is FG Wilson, and the spare parts for which is very difficult to get, we managed to get it after a while. So then, coming to the next project, security, CCTV cameras, boom barrier, and visitor management system. You all know that we introduced MyGate. We didn't spend any money on MyGate. MyGate gave the software for free use for the first year. And after that, they set some small little usage charges which we'll pay. And during the year, we had to replace almost all the cameras on the lifts because none of them were working and they were repeatedly failing because every time the lift moves up, the wire gets cut. So we went and analyzed people, and I went and discussed people who are doing security cameras for police. So one such vendor we got them, and they said Wi-Fi enabled wireless cameras. So we have installed Wi-Fi enabled wireless cameras in all the lifts now. So now after that the lift cameras are stable. So now it will help us to do people who are misusing lifts and who are vandalizing lifts. That's why this has been strengthened. And also across RMT we have got 154 cameras, and we have replaced because they were faulty 30 cameras. And the boom barrier was faulty and it could not be repaired, and we had to replace the new boom barrier. It had cost 1.7 lakhs. And also when we did the recent security change, previously we had a 9-year-old security. They know every resident by face and they were looking at people and opening the car for them very easily. But the police authorities personally called us, some of the MC members, in one of the functions that was held in Colony. You know that inspector who carried an injured person in her hands and ran and put her in the ambulance, and she was appreciated by Narendra Modi? That lady is the one. What's the lady's name, Balaji? That lady is the one who is in charge of our area, Santam area. She personally visited us and said, "Man, I've taken stock of your area. Your colony has got the oldest security guard. Half of them does not have Aadhaar cards. You don't know the backgrounds, and one big high-profile murder has happened, double murder has happened in the city, which is close people working with some people for a long time. You got a lot of senior citizens. This is not right. Please reshuffle your security people agency at least once in 2 years. You've been there for 9 years. Should not do it." So we had to change the security, and we changed it. But the first security guards are poached by some agency, and we had lots of transition changes. Then we had Balaji and team put together another agency, Krishna Kumar, Ravi Chandran, all of them supported a lot, and we managed to put Black Cats, one of the good agencies who are guarding banks and all, and touch wood, now that is settled up. And at the time, they had a problem. They don't know who's the visitor, who's the resident. So how do nobody, when we did a dipstick, nobody wanted to put sticker on the cars because of privacy. So we installed a camera-based identification system. All the car numbers we loaded from MyGate, and we got a camera-based system. 70, 80% of the resident cars are getting automatically passed. Other cars are being screened and managed. Huh? MyGate system, 75%, madam? 77% of the residents have installed MyGate, and now the basic functionalities of MyGate are being used well. But for example, visitor coming approval, now that is reasonably working well. All residents are also responding. But the full use of MyGate, we need to propagate more and more. And see, the benefit of MyGate is, it is across every community. The market share of MyGate is so high, so it is so user friendly. And a lot of residents are using the MyGate as other flats. So therefore we chose MyGate and they gave us virtually free. That is under implementation. Neela ma'am has driven the implementation of MyGate, and I'm telling you, thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah. So now coming to the fire safety. Fire safety systems, the work is in progress. First quarter of this MC's tenure, because after COVID, after COVID we found out we have got 236 fire extinguishers in RMT across 9 blocks and 9 floors. 180 had expired by the time we took over. Because the fire extinguishers got a 2-year life. So we need to monitor the expiry date and we need to replace. And we have replaced 188 out of them. Second, last year, heavy rains, we saw flooding into the fire room in the basements. Because if the fire room is got flooded, then all the systems will go for a toss. So we made some civil changes and protected that. And some fire pumping motors were repaired, and now we have fixed it. Now we are following up with the renewal of fire license. That's the status on the fire safety permission. But there is still a lot of improvement need to be done on the fire infrastructure, because from every block there are fire hydrants and water sprinklers. We need to check all the water sprinkler and make sure every floor gets water, and every floor has got the hose and the pipe, etc. All that fire drill we all have takes quite some distance to go. But the basic permission we will be getting it in about a couple of months' time. So coming to electrical, plumbing, maintenance and other carpentry work, as I mentioned to you already, across RMT all the civil work was done, and plastered, fixed, broken pieces have been done. And in all the blocks, when you exit from the basement, there are cattle traps to take the flood water. Those were rusted and they're creating huge noise, creating nuisance. The very first quarter of our project, Narendra and Ravi came out with the new cattle traps for all the 9 blocks, and that has been fixed. Also on the river side, there are 13 manholes, and every now and then those manholes erupt dirty water outside, and it was creating a lot of nuisance and smell and unhygienic conditions. In the very first quarter, we managed to raise the manhole level so that the rainwater will not go into sewage and overflow. And after raising the manhole, we also relaid or refixed the tiles to suit that level. And further, to reduce the flooding, we created along the river 4 new rainwater harvesting pits, so that water goes into those pits and doesn't unnecessarily back into something. Further, the sewage being sent outside, there's a sewage line from our gate to Somerset. Is often a big problem because it's same like water. The capacity is not enough, and the problem is the level is not like this. It's like this. RMT level is lower than Somerset level. RMT level of sewage line is lower than Somerset behind block 3. So every time there is flooding in the Somerset, automatically 3A wing side will open up. So to avoid this, what we are doing, periodically we are pressure cleaning the line to keep the flow stable and avoid blockages. Further, we have at least had 3 to 4 instances of blockages in our sewage lines caused by the behavior of residents. Plastic, sanitary napkins, whatnot, all are being dumped into the sewage lines, and then people flush it out, and that gets stuck, and oh God, Unborn team had a very tough job to do. Sometimes manual even physically pull out and then remove it. So I expect and request the resident, we have sent circulars also. So that is something we need to create awareness for. And then eyesore project, particularly block 3A and 5, because they're exposed to the seaside, the corrosion is so high, all the handrails and the grills, in each and every area in front of the houses are completely rusted, and children are touching and getting hurt on the fingers. It's one, it's an eyesore. Second, it's a safety problem. Children are involved. So again, there was a simple solution is to paint them. Said no, every year you can't paint and spend money. So we need to do something different. So we called the corrosion experts from Asian Paints and asked them to study what is the permanent solution. So Asian Paints came out with the solution, and with the solution we have done epoxy primering and then coating. So now 3A and 5A have been completed. So similarly, we will have to find out the other rusted areas and start getting painting. We have repainted all the basement areas plastered and avoided leakages. And we repainted most part of the clubhouse, the gate, etc., etc. And the motor pumps for clearing the rainwater and other water been replaced. And 9 blocks, the overhead tank float meter. We have an RO water tank. When the water tank level goes down, somebody need to manually monitor and switch on, because the old sensor-based float meters are faulty. At a cost of 1.9 lakhs, we changed the float meters. And after COVID, we have restored the swimming pool, which is a normal job. And we painted the multipurpose hall, replaced the lights, and the entrance area and outside of the clubhouse. On the housekeeping side, for maintenance as well as housekeeping, Securo, the agency that is taking care, their contracts were not we didn't do the review of the contract and give the necessary increase for the last 5 years. So we came here during the EGM and we represented, thanks to the budget sanction, we have called Securo, renegotiated the contract, given them a reasonable raise, and more importantly, we laid them SLAs. As you have seen now, across blocks, now the new type of, restarting of works are doing. For example, all the granite floors are being machine cleaned. All the duct areas, we are now doing pressure cleaning with jet pumps. And all the gardening trimming is happening. And all the sump water is being removed every month. All these have been incorporated in the Securo's contract. And also, the housekeeping staff have been given a decent raise. Thanks to ma'am, you've been mentioning this, Neela madam has been saying about segregation of waste and the housekeeping staff well-being from the very beginning, and that we managed to implement this month. Thank you, you should take a bow for that. And we restarted the mechanized floor cleaning of granite area and duct areas. Motorized cleaning in all the lobbies. Park, it's a very great job done by the previous committee. We got an excellent park, people are enjoying it, and we are just maintaining it. But one problem we faced during the year, there are rules, 49 rules have been laid by corporation given to RMT to follow while using the park. We found repeatedly many rules are being flouted. So we are trying to enforce the rules, and we have made a board there. Some are being still followed, some are not being followed. We request all residents to adhere to the rules laid on the board there. RMU project, it is something where we couldn't do much. And actually in the beginning, three, four of us, we got in together, like the water project, like the lift project, we threw ourselves at it. We had several meetings. The previous committee, they introduced the old vendor. The old vendor came. We also consulted new vendors. We asked them to look at the RMU that has been purchased in line. And one vendor said, with minimal expenditure we can replace it. Some vendors said, no, this is not acceptable to EB. EB guys don't want to come and help complete this project. So this project, we couldn't make much project as of today. And personally speaking, three of us, we worked on this project. Myself, Ravichandran, Kiran, who else? Okay, and Narendra and all of us. And we currently feel it's a very difficult project. The block 1 transformer is almost tilting like a pizza tower, leaning tower of pizza. I don't know, God knows, as long as it goes okay, but we need to do something about it. We couldn't make progress on this. So it's one improvement area for us. Sports, entertainment, cultural activities. On the gym air conditioner was faulty, we managed to replace it. Equipment in the gym were faulty, we replaced it. Cultural activities post-COVID has recommenced. 75th Independence Day was celebrated with a lot of color and pomp. And we, as an innovative idea, Balaji, I think you Okay, and we celebrated and felicitated senior citizens members in RMT residents who were born on or before 15th August 1947. That very appreciated. And a record 150 people participated. Yeah. After COVID, first time we saw a lot of cultural activities. And Ganesh Chaturthi was celebrated. There was a music concert that was held. Navaratri was celebrated in this hall with a lot of color. We had 3 days of function. One was an outside talent, a musical evening. One cultural activities by children, hosted by our own clubhouse team, our sports entertainment team. Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think kept the post-COVID activities, in great shape. And Navaratri, all 9 days in this hall, I personally used to pop in and check. Very good attendance. And Ayudha Puja was also celebrated with the usual color, as you can see here. So now from here, we can move into the annual report, and I request our treasurer, Mr. Krishna Kumar, to come. And after Mr. Krishna Kumar comes, maybe I can also come and add my own.
Thanks, Shankar. Good afternoon. Let me quickly go through the annual accounts. We have already presented the elaborate one, and when you look at it now, income stands at 242, 244, marginal 2 lakh increase because of utilization of this hall, movements, etc. But more or less, the collection has been consistent. When it comes to expenditure, we have in the EGM presented the increase in various salary heads, like not salary, expense heads, security, housekeeping, etc. But we have had a substantial saving in purchase of water. As a result, you can see overall expenditure, it was 222 lakhs in the previous year, was 220 for the accounting year ended 31st of March 2021-22. So as a result, you can see the income went up by 4 lakh, and then correspondingly tax has gone up. This was not expected. We had some purchases planned for RO plant, which we could not do it before March 31st. As a result, we had a higher income from 8 lakhs to 14 lakhs, and then higher tax, but marginally it's from 0.8 to 2.39, not much. But what is more important is the purchase of water. This is where I wanted to touch upon. When multiple committees consistently agree on a area and then work on it, what gets the benefit is for the association. Like you can see from 2019, our purchase of water, the outside water was 20 lakhs. The next year it went up to 38 lakhs due to poor monsoon. And the committee took the rainwater harvesting, RO plant maintenance, and we had a good monsoon also. So this year we had 10 lakh only is the purchase of water, the outside water tanker which is coming into our apartment. And now this year we may have only 5.54 is expected. So far we have incurred only 3 lakhs, and we are in October, and we are expected to have a good monsoon, which means by March we will not be touching even 10 lakhs this year. So from 38 lakhs in 2020 to 5 lakhs, which means 33 lakhs of saving in purchase of water due to the work done by multiple committees. So I wanted to thank Madan and Bose committee, the earlier one. They have done a major, Matthew sir, sorry. So the heavy lifting was done by them. Good monsoon was by God, and RO plant maintenance we have done. So with that, and Metro Water, no, not some bit, though he was very modest in telling some bit. From, in fact, we will have higher taxes coming from government because the flow is increased from 90,000 cusecs to 1.35, and the water tax is based on the speed, which means we are going to have higher tax, but it's marginal from 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs. Yeah. And so what I wanted to touch upon is that in the EGM we presented multiple expense heads are having an increase, but this one purchase of water had brought a substantial saving. As a result, on the top line you see income going by 2 lakhs, expense coming down by 2 lakhs. Just for everyone consumption, I just put the red arrow. So you can see everywhere the red arrow is going up. Salary and bonus, it was 11 lakhs, around 8 of 9 staff. But in 2021, because of COVID, some of the staff, I think 7 of them were paid only 50% of their monthly salary because of COVID, and because they were not able to come, etc. But we restored the full salary for all the employees. So it's a full salary for 2022. And electricity charges, again, from more or less it remains the same, 22 lakhs to 23 lakhs. Repairs and maintenance, again, we have had a good control over what we spend. As a result, from 26 lakhs, it came to 22 lakhs. And you can see that the security and housekeeping, they were asking for higher, and because of our old apartment, we were incurring more expenditure. Now we have brought new security, the Securo contract is renewed, and we have brought a lot of service offering and service level maintenance. So we expect next year to be much better. And with the new manager Manigandan and Anbu from Securo side acting as a double-barreled gun, looking at our this one. So we expect a complete focus on all the areas. GST is input reversal, like see, because we can't have a profit out of a collection, no? So in and out. It's an input reversal. So we collect and we pay so much. Boss, you want to explain? It does a detailed working. All that we are trying to say is you can't make profit or loss out of the GST collection. In the sense you have collected so much, you have paid so much, the difference you have to take it as a charge, so that government is not at a loss and you can't make profit out of GST collection. No. No. Yes, sir. Yeah, moving on to balance sheet, you can see that more or less the reserves and surplus have gone up a bit, 11 lakhs of income over expenditure of last year. And deposits from tenants, last year we had lot of collection we have done, that is receivable from flat owners. It is 16 lakh was outstanding, now it is outstanding only 10 lakhs, which meant that a lot of efforts in collecting the outstanding rent, outstanding MMC. And you can see the cash and bank balance from 305 lakhs, it has gone to 332 lakhs. So we have having a surplus cash, and meaning between the last year and this year, we had an increase. So we are continuing our prudence balance sheet management in terms of collecting. Even the Malar, which was not paying any of the rentals, we asked them to vacate, and then we brought a new person. So around 5 to 6 lakhs was outstanding from Malar, and we collected the entire amount. The new shop has come, and again we have collected additional money. Malar had paid 75,000, this guy has paid 1,50,000. So wherever the financial prudence has to be there, we are insisting and ensuring that our association is taken care. And one more thing is some MMC outstanding. When I look at it, it's only the locked houses we are having an issue, and all the residents are paying the MMC on time. This is something to be appreciated, and we expect the same thing to continue. This one you touch upon? Okay.
So only one slide I left with, only one slide I left with, after we can take question and answer. Okay, all of us are having this question GST. When we circulated the lift charges, when we all, everybody waiting to ask this GST question, I thought we'll explain this and then give it for Q&A. So when we circulated the lift charges money, at the time we very clearly mentioned that from next month onwards, all flats in RMT will pay GST. So currently, RMT flats paying less than 7,500 rupees per month are not paying GST, and some flats having MMC more than 7,500 are paying GST. This is the current situation. About 45% of the flats, 120 flats or so, are not paying GST today. So now, I want to explain, going forward, all flats will pay GST for this year. Why? First, all amounts paid to Resident Welfare Association in excess of 90,000 in a year is chargeable under DST. The law is clear. It has nothing to do with RMT. This is GST law. Any amount paid to a Resident Welfare Association in whatever name it is called, you may call it corpus, you may call it water charges, you may call it this, you may call it that. Any amount paid to a Resident Welfare Association in excess of 90,000 per year is subject to GST. This is the law. We have taken legal opinion. The law is clear. So, money payable to RMT as lift contribution is chargeable under GST. Money payable to RMT and as lift contribution, 50,000, 60,000, depending upon your flat size, is subject to GST. We have taken legal opinion. Legal opinion is very, very clear. Coming back to the same point, 7,500 people who are paying less than 7,500 per month MMC are not paying GST. Because we have raised request for lift money, suppose you are paying 7,000. 7,000 times 12 times 84,000. You are less than 90,000, currently you are not paying GST, correct? But this year, this month you will be paying lift charges, that is 50,000 minimum. So 84 plus 54, 50,000, 1,34,000. So you exceeded 90,000 limit. So all flats in RMT will have to pay GST on MMC from this month. Until for this financial year.
March 23.
Until this financial year. Next, wait, please questions later. I'm explaining. Next year, if your total next year MMC total for the next year is less than 90,000, we don't have to pay. Wait, I'm coming to it. So, one more point, big point. The lift, as I mentioned to you, is 17,50,000 per lift and 1.47 lakh per lift installation, adjustment, wiring, electrical charges. Total cost of one lift is 18.97 lakh including GST. Let me repeat. Total cost of one service lift is 18.97 lakh including GST. Into 9 lifts, 1.71 crore. We have made a request on the residents for 1.71 crore, absolutely separate bank account, and we are paying that money directly to Johnson and to the vendor. We are not retaining 1 rupee out of that for association. So what comes, that entire money goes to Johnson. So a lot of residents were asking this question, therefore I'm once again clarifying. That's why we opened a separate bank account. We're asking people to pay in that bank account. From that bank account, we'll pay to Johnson and to the lift vendor. So RMT's eligibility for GST input credit or something that RMT's association will have to handle. That is nothing to do with the GST payment by the resident on the MMC is a requirement of law. That is not having any impact or relationship with the RMT's input claiming ability. Whether RMT claims input credit or not claims, it is another point of law for which also we have taken legal opinion. We are going by that. So we are trying to take all financially prudent decisions, keeping in mind the future, because it's a voluntary organization. We are all volunteers. The MT members are voluntary. We have a term. So therefore, please be rest assured, the lift money being charged 1.71 crore is exactly equal to the expenditure. And that is subject to GST charge. Legal opinion is very clear. We took 2 months to get multiple sources. We hired the best GST consultant in South India to know this. Okay? So therefore, starting this month, every flat will pay GST. And if they are business people, they can claim input credit for that. Okay, now, October. Because lift charges are paid in October, right? No, anyway you are covered, not covered. I'm talking about block 3A, 3B, 5A, 5B. People who have got less than 1,700, so 7,500 rupees. People who are currently not paying GST on the MMC, because now they paid lift charges, no? So the total amount will exceed more than 90,000. So they'll have to start paying from now onwards MMC, on MMC. So I'm saying now 30th is the last date for payment of lift charges. From now onwards we will raise the invoices with GST.
What about reciprocal from March to October?
1 minute. March to October, reciprocal backdated.
Yeah.
Very conservative interpretation said that is also payable. But practical interpretation says going forward at least you pay. Very good question. Hats off to Narendra. Legal advice says April onwards is payable. But that's a conservative interpretation. But advice given practically is, sir, at least now onwards you pay, you can be safe. Then till March you cannot. Okay, wait a minute.
Project will get delayed.
Project will.
So let's not call it as criminalizing. Okay, we are all, you are a resident who's going to pay, we are residents who are going to pay. Eventually, we got the lift approval in an AGM in March 23, in March 22, and in the next 6 months to 9 months, having got an approval from each one of you that yes, we are ready to pay for the lift, let's go ahead to do that. We want to execute the project and come out.
Okay, this slide, wait a minute. This slide will clarify this. This slide, last slide will clarify this. Next financial year, if the total MMC period payment is less than 90,000, those members need not have to pay GST because it's a per year, financial year basis, it's set. Also, this is an interesting point. Now, we are working with the GST consultant to see if we can charge GST only on the amount in excess of 7,500 and not on the entire MMC. This point has been always in contention, but in August 2022, there are supporting rulings have come. Our GST consultants have told us, but they're saying don't change this in the middle of the year, wait for April. In this 5-6 months, let's see if the notification supporting that ruling is coming out. We can, from April, we can take the benefit of that ruling. So we are now trying to give relief to the residents, not only to the ones who are not paying GST, for across RMT, to charge GST only on the amount in excess of 7,500.
I have one point out here for you. If we get the lift, if we put the lift this year, we have to pay the GST this year. If we put the lift next year, we have to put the lift GST next year. So, because the lift has been a long pending issue for us, we felt it prudent to put the lift this year and pay the GST and not pay next year. Otherwise, if we put it next year also, we have to pay.
Okay, 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Mr. Sridharan, please, I beg your pardon. Sir, if you think, wait a minute. If you think you can do tax planning, but just by timing the lift expenditure, I think it's very, very short-sighted view. Wait a minute. Allow me to explain also. The correct legal interpretation is, if 1 year amount is in excess of 90,000, the entire excess has to be paid. That's what Mr. Narendra asked. It is a practical interpretation people are using to pay only from that month onwards. So therefore, what he's saying lift money, you charge it in March, you pay only for 1 month, and April onwards again don't pay. Okay, let me complete this. Let me complete this. So we are working with the GST consultants to see from April onwards we can charge the GST only on the excess over 7,500, but because there are rulings now, and we are waiting for those rulings to be notified. If this comes, this is a big win. And second, one more thing. Association, being a voluntary body run by volunteers, cannot take tax calls on this kind of people. It's very big headache. Let's do proper compliance and live peacefully. That's my ration. I think Balaji, please help us to coordinate for questions.
See, there are two aspects which I wanted to cover. Probably I'll show. See, this is what I wanted to show. Our total lift cost is 171 lakhs and the GST amount what we pay is 26 lakhs. And amount collected per square foot is 26.50. There are two interpretations. Our auditor felt lift is part of immovable property. As a result, you don't get input credit. And the GST being a subject which is very recent for India with the last 5 years, before that we had service tax, value-added tax, etc. There are many rulings which permit the lift installation, we can take the input tax credit. If we take the input tax credit, we are getting 26 lakhs credit, which otherwise we will not get it. So if block 3 and 5 alone is paying 4 lakhs extra because of the lift, if the association feels we get 26 lakhs credit against a 4 lakh for a certain section is affected, which we can always decide what to do with that amount, because we still have got 26 lakhs input credit. Okay. If we get that credit and once the assessment goes through, we can discuss and say that among all the residents, block 3 and 5 had additional outflow because of GST and we have got 26 lakh credit, can we compensate? That decision is with ourselves. Okay.
No, thanks Krishna Kumar for that view, but that's a very contentious view. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You understood the point. That's a very contentious view, Krishna Kumar, sir. See, it's like saying GST liability is that of a resident. We are as MC representing RMT association. What RMT's input credit has got nothing to do with the GST chargeability of a resident member. So, a resident member cannot come and say, you are getting input credit, therefore they pass it on to me. That's not correct, not fair at all. Only one thing, association gets to keep the input credit and work on more projects. That's possible. But, as I say now, the input credit possible is a ball in play. We are not sure. We are going to claim input credit and see or put our best effort to defend our case. 90% we are sure, 10% we are not sure. 90% we are sure that we will get input credit because we have taken legal opinion, interpretation, worked on for 2 months, but we are still not sure. So therefore, again, let me come back to the resident's query. Association should do what is right as per the law of the land for association. We may come and go. I can't give headache to the future committees and the future treasurers. Therefore, we should do what apparently be 100% correct. That's what we are doing. Thank you so much. You can ask other questions.
Accounts
Question paid.
Yeah, budget was circulated, but I have not. No slide. No. See, some of the things I think we have made a proportionate of how much is actually incurred, and we extrapolated. So, if I'll look at the actual amount incurred so far and ensure that a budget is corrected. CPage. No, CPage I additionally put it because if I look at it between this year, we talked about 220 lakhs input collection. Next year, because of the higher amount, 3.5 rupees per square foot, it comes to 293 lakhs. if I have 293 lakh collection and we have a further reduction in water charges, better negotiation, and we end up at 220 to 230 lakhs, 60 to 70 lakh would be the income over expenditure, which means we'll be paying huge income tax. So so for the seepage, though we have got a contract identified, the expert committee consider. No, it is not a repetitive thing. 29 lakhs is meant for the seepage, and seepage as a project, though we initially thought 2 crores overall when we convened the EGM, now it looks like 2 crore is on the lower side. So next year, yes.
It's not a repeat expense. It's not a repeat expense. It's not a repeat expense. But in place of this, we may, because being 1 minute. Mukundan sir, let me complete the point. You are right, this 29 lakhs will not repeat. But being an aged society, aging building and infrastructure, instead of this expense, some that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. What we are trying to do, we are looking at the finances and the availability and something. We got projects lined up. First of all, we are working out projects, initiatives, and prioritizing them, and finding out how much money is available and clearing them one by one. That's what we are doing.
Can I just give one example? One example like this.
No, they could be rolled back if at some point in time we feel that no more projects to be done. We are very fine with the status quo. But that point is quite far away. That's what I'm saying.
Just give you one example.
Absolutely, that's fine.
Let me give you one example. The fire system which we have. We've discussed, we've done the fire system. This is the basics of what we rectified first. A fire hydrant system doesn't work, right? You're aware of it. You just mentioned that. To get the fire hydrant system working, the pipes are leaking, underground pipes are leaking. To get the pipes done, it's itself is an expenditure of 20 lakhs plus. I'm just telling you this now. So there are huge expenses other than this also which are currently there, which have been pending for a long period of time, which need to be done year on year, based on priority, based on what is immediately necessary in terms of safety and security, with what we can do to make things look good immediately. That's what we prioritize. These expenses will come. The RMU will come next year or the year.
Exactly, that's a point. When will the block 1 transformer going to tilt and fall, and what's going to happen? So then you'll be running only DC generators for block 1 and block 2. So therefore, yes, this expenditure will not repeat. But I'm not sure that will be saving. Fine, sir, there are two ways. Not maybe 70 lakhs, 1 minute, maybe not 70 lakhs. What I can say, we have constant need and projects sanctioned, waiting. As and when putting upon the funds availability, we are sanctioning on prioritization. That's all.
In fact, when we had taken up the committee in the first set of activities that was done, where Ravi had put together the whole list of expenditure that could be required for the community to stabilize for at least another 10-15 years without an issue, there was a minimum of 6 crore requirement, which we can very well share the sheet with you. When we looked at a 6 crore revenue, a 6 crore expenditure that is looked at for this community to sustain for the next 10 years without we going for any renovation or reconstruction, because where the flats go after reconstruction of 20 years, they go to build, it becomes something very different. So when we took up the committee, the first decision we took is, if we are going to do something effective, let's first put on table what is required for this community to sustain as an expenditure. The overall number was close to 6 crores. When we arrived at that, we decided, let us first convene an EGM to increase the MMC. Why? Because all the earlier committees and all the maintenance team that was trying to repair a particular problem was only trying to give a temporary solution of, identify something, do something as a temporary goof up, and then after a few weeks again the same problem repeats, again it's done. So somewhere if there was a permanent solution to be done, because as Mr. Sridhar was trying to say, we have enough amount in the corpus of close to 3 crores, why we should really look at a capex for a lift and all that? Let's do it, because the corpus is not going to remain free. We will incur something very huge, which has been anticipated. Some committee has to take a step to ensure that increase in MMC happens, whether you sustain at 3.5, increase it to 4, because today in the entire MRC locality, what we were being charged was the least of the maintenance, and we were able to get only least of the services to it. So now with us and the coming MCs, now the accountability is huge for them, because we will end in 2023. The one who takes up in 2023 is going to have too much surplus, for which projects are very much lined up for close to 6 crores that they have to mandatorily execute. So today if we pay the lift and we ensure that that corpus remains for us, as Narendra was mentioning, fire extinguisher is only a tip of an iceberg. So we don't have any water connection. RMU is another tip of an iceberg. So on list you have too many things that we have to do. So we will do to our extent where we signed off something, and the committee is coming in 23, committee is coming in 25, 27, have to continue it, because Ravi had put it for another 6 years that we need to incur this amount.
So let's, I think this topic has been like,
What is telling is we are already having a surplus of 70 lakhs for this year, and only 5 months are left for this year. Are you ready to spend?
That's what, it's critical.
This limited point I understood, what I told
You know why we are spending?
People are paying for it, that's also
That's the reason we have already made provision.
This year only 7 months have gone. You got only 5 more months.
Okay.
Then the March comes. So 70 lakh surplus is going to be 100%.
No, it's not, sir.
So how are you going to
No,
spend
let's
it?
not look at that surplus. At least 45 lakhs has come in through capex through a lot of people who have put in. So the rest cannot say, I will not pay, use that.
See, it's not 70. Pradeep, it's not 70 lakhs first step. Oh, 30 lakhs.
What is going to be the surplus this year, that is current year? And are we ready to spend that money?
Correct.
Yes.
So that we can save on income tax.
Exactly.
That's the whole fight.
Thank you.
Yes, answer is yes. 1 second, let me finish. The 30 lakhs is the surplus, which means we are not here to pay the income tax. And we know that, and for seepage we have already got. For repairs and maintenance, the 14.56 or 15 lakh what we have incurred is going in the current year, which means from 22 lakhs to 40 lakhs, we have already incurred 15 lakh one time. Okay, so this is coming as a 40 lakhs. So we will take every year what is the projected amount, and accordingly we can make it. Like this year, we have increased the MMC charges. We are looking at the income versus expenditure, and we have identified some surplus, which means we needed to incur. That's the reason we have put it. And in the committee we have discussed, and we are having plans to incur before 31st of March.
That's the point, that's the point. Okay, well, point well taken. We will make sure as MSC that we don't unnecessarily pay end of taxes. We'll prudently, we got projects, we'll execute the projects ruthlessly fast, so that by March 31st, we don't pay end of taxes. Thank you. We'll move the
sorry, I have a question further on the accounts.
Yeah.
So in general, you know,
Yeah.
hey Pradeep,
Overall collections, sir. I understood the point. This year it.
yeah. So I think his initial question was basically, is there going to be surplus? How are you going to use it? That was the question. It went off into a tax thing
Correct.
unnecessarily.
No.
So anyway,
There won't be a surplus.
yeah.
Okay.
So my question is, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, that question was about like, if there is a surplus, is MMC going to come down, which is always a perennial question in this AGM.
Okay.
Like, that is not going to happen. We have our buildings are aging. There's going to be a lot of expenses ahead. There's no way we can reduce MMC for the foreseeable future, at least from my opinion. One thing I want to ask is, usually we see a lot of interest accrued on FDs to the tune of like, 17, 18 lakhs, which we actually, plow into maintenance and doing projects. In fact, a lot of these projects are done with that kind of interest. But now I'm seeing like, the FD interest accrued is just 5 lakhs and. Yeah, but even if it's like a one year FD, it's right now at 6%, right? So we have like 3 crores at any time in cash.
See, when they reviewed it last year, I was looking at the interest rate, it was between 3 and 4%.
4%.
4%. So that should be still 12 lakhs.
1 minute.
That should be still 12 lakhs.
Interest rates have
4%.
gone down. Second, as per the bylaws, we can only invest in public sector banks. And public sector banks don't give that kind of rates what you're talking about. Every quarter, every time the renewal comes, treasurer and Raja and other, Raja is being a personally himself a banker, he keeps advising us and pushing us what to do. In fact, he's been telling us to look for investments in a slightly better ICICI bank kind of stuff. But our bylaw says very clear, only PSU bank investment. So among the PSU bank investment, what is the best rate we are getting? We are doing that.
So let's say,
Okay.
even if it's like 4%, we should have seen like 12 lakhs. So
1 minute, you need to also look at, wait, let's not generalize.
Sorry?
The actual interest received on bank deposit is 15.89 lakhs.
Okay.
There are we seeing 4 lakhs.
Okay, I'm just seeing interest accrued on fixed deposits. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so
Just
what I'm
want to
saying,
make sure.
one more thing, interest rate applicable on the date of renewal only matters. After we renew it for 1.5 years or 1 year, if it rate goes up, I can't help it. Anyway, what I'm saying that 1230,
Last one question. No, I take responsibility. I have not considered the bonus component, Diwali bonus. This year we have considered. So that amount will be close to 14 lakhs only. The 2 lakhs, it's a mistake on my part. Normally, the year before 50% was given. Next year we have given, but the Diwali bonus was an additional amount one time, which I did not consider while doing the budget. Not 3 lakhs, around 14 lakhs. Yes.
Red flags or cost overruns anywhere, because I don't see any contingent liability amount anywhere. So is it safe to assume that we are on correct this thing? There are no cost overruns or any red flags?
See, contingent liability, I don't know on what aspect. If you see, contingent liability is definitely we have not considered, which means there is a government notice. We may or we may not recognize in future, but still not disclosing.
Or
in the
something
books of
occurring
account.
which may increase the cost.
So, see, every now and then government is coming and say that you can't put the dustbin outside, you have to have a composite plant inside. Are they going to levy a notice and say that you have not had a disposal retrospectively? I don't think so. But those are all very remote, we have not considered. So to answer your point, is there a contingent liability? We may or may not, but not a large sum, and we have not considered that. A flood relief fund, it's there for the last many years. I see there are two liabilities. I think flood relief fund and Srivari. Those two are in the books of account for the last 4 or 5 years, which this year I'll consider. And then, so 2015 during the we created, and it is there for the last 7 years. I have also noticed it, but this year I'll place it and then look at the Srivari, which is a 5 lakh, that company itself is liquidated. So no longer that liability will continue, so which means we have to reverse it back. So those are 2, 3 which will get reflected in the current year books of account.
okay, one last point. I just want to place on record in this AGM very detailed, excellent work done by the core committee and the expert advisory committee on seepages. I just want to, can you just, no, I'll pass Pandapa. This is a report, we have got two expert advisory committees, one expert advisory committee for the lifts, which I already explained. This is the seepage committee, expert advisory committee, and the core committee of MC. Mr. Ravichandran, Kiran, and Narendra, Uma, who is a civil engineer, and Kingsley. Okay, and this committee has submitted a very, very detailed report. This report has gone for being worked on for nearly 4 months now. Last AGM, we placed the two major projects. One was lift, another was seepage. The seepage can be divided into three major parts. One, to arrest seepage across all 9 blocks, what association has to do in the overhead tank, in the terrace, in the vertical pipes and duct areas. This is one thing. This is association scope. Association will pay for it. I remember very well, beautifully, this question was raised by Mr. Matthew in the last AGM. But what association can do alone cannot stop seepage. That's only 50% of the part. 50% of the part also comes to the residents. So residents will have to do individual flat inside seepage arresting work. So this report has analyzed in greater depth and detail, and this report, please have a look at it and give me back this for our records. Okay, and what we are currently now looking at is, we have taken block 3A and 3B as an example and made a very detailed proposal. And in the EGM, we proposed 25 rupees per square feet as a special contribution to be made to the association for seepage. From the looks of the current study and the work, etc., required, this 25 rupees is nowhere going to be enough, because we need to put a lot of scaffolding, etc., scaffolding, etc., and finish it. Second, in addition to the 25, 30 or 40 rupees per square feet, which people have to contribute to association, and association have to do common area, the residents will have to do also inside the flat another 25, 30 rupees for doing their bathrooms, doing the kitchens, and those who have not done PVC, GI to UPVC conversion, they have to do, etc., etc., etc. So therefore, this is work in progress, ball in play. Mr. Ravi will share more details.
I don't want to, because I think time being what it is, I don't. Coming better.
So.
A lot of good suggestions in here.
Correct.
Whoever is renovating their bathrooms, they should implement all this, that
Okay.
should be conveyed to them.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, we'll pass a resolution.
Yeah. So, two resolutions. One is adoption of accounts for 2022 and budget for the 2022-2023 and appointment of auditor. So these are the three resolutions I wanted to move, and I want members to propose and some.
Who is the proposer? Mr. Bose, seconder.
Bose is the seconder. Thank you very much.
Appointment of auditors.
Ganesan and Co. Mr. Venkatramani is here. He is our auditor for the past many years, and he is a consultant for us also whenever we have certain clarifications. Thank you very much, sir. So let's continue our discussion, and maybe thank you. Sure, we'll do that.
That's comments. In a sense, we just had one additional security. What we have done is we have strengthened the TV which can be watched 24/7 by both the shifts, one security, so that all the 9 Wi-Fi cameras that's been changed in the passenger lift will get monitored.
But Balaji, if you catch people and find them, sorry about it, but you should publicize it so that people know that you are
Publicize.
You should do it. We don't even
Anyone wants it?
Otherwise, everybody find it or something.
No.
The second point is, please let me finish. The accumulation of important things in the corridor. You should take pride in our you should do beautiful. You should contribute in every sense possible. And run all the balconies and make corridors. You see that lot of people love all that small things. My floor is very clear. I'm very proud of my floor. I'm not just talking for myself. I'm talking for my entire house. How are we going to create this awareness? Be proud of our house. What are we going to do?
No, madam, Manikandan. So we have appointed Manikandan. One of the reason is that Anbu is largely held up on maintenance and repair work. There is nothing called relationship manager kind of person working with the residents. As a result, he is always on a firefighting mode when he is double hatting on behalf of housekeeping, on behalf of maintenance, plus he is our facility manager. So recognizing that Manikandan is brought in and Manikandan is being introduced, one of the tasks what we have been asking is essentially what you have mentioned. One, relationship. If someone raises a complaint, we never call back and ask whether it is done, whether they have done it, is it a repetitive complaint, have they done it to their expectations, all those things. So Manikandan, we are expecting him to have a monthly target, and one of the thing is clean corridors and ensuring that block 3 and 5 have got both the lifts adjacent to each other. So it's very difficult because in other blocks, lifts are two separate one and vendors are trained to go to the service lift. In the case of block 3 and 5, we have got a problem because it's adjacent to each other. Can we put one additional security till such time the people are trained? Those are all the suggestions we will take. And we have got a new security agency which is not very high also, almost on the same cost lines of SDB. So we can go for additional and ensuring that proper discipline is maintained. So Manikandan's 6-month performance will be, we will review based on feedback from all the residents. That's what one of the things we have told. So he will be connecting with all the residents. So then probably the next time we will have more people coming in with the more participation.
On my app, my gate, you can track them and then check whether it is completed or not. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, I've been using my app, my friends have been using my app. You can actually pay your maintenance through my app and it automatically generates your receipt. So it's easy for you to track and easy for the residents to track, and you can also set up auto pay through that.
Yes. That ERP application we are aware. Only thing is some of the residents pay 2 months because many of the corporates they pay 1 year. Lot of installments, bullet payments, those kind of options we are exploring. But we wanted MyGate to stabilize. Even for guests, we are not using it. If you go to any other like Zebras 174, you need to give a OTP, then only you can enter. Now we have done only for vendors and not for guests. So we need to have the MyGate more and more socialized. People feel that if my brother is coming, I share my OTP and he is not feeling offended when the security stops. That kind of culture once we get in, I think the next one would be to get into a ERP, which I've kept it in my book of work. But again, the schedule of payment of MMC is very different by many people. Many of them pay 2 months, 3 months, 12 months, like that. So that's something we are working on. Okay? Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, we would like to conclude, maybe offhand we'll have the discussion because it's almost 1 o'clock. So thank you one and all. We'll just raise for the national anthem. Before that, yeah, we'll just do a quick national anthem and leave. Before that, as a word of thanks to the past presidents, to the past MCs, to the current president, to the secretary, treasurer, to every other member. As we told you, it's 200% a selfless job. As much as it is for you, it is for all of us. So it's not like we live in another place to put any orders for the society. Any security, any change also impacts all of us. So the only request is, let's have a collective discussion, because the expert committee that we formed, thanks to each one of them, because we got more inclusive of so many of the members to be part of it. So let's continue this good work. So more good will yield us more good. So that's the concluding note. So let's have the national anthem too. Let's sing it. So. Jai Hind. Thank you so much. Thank you.